Welcome to the Coaches Show on the Spartan Digital Network. That's Preston Ingram, the men's head basketball coach here at MBU. And Preston, a little bit of a rough stretch right now for the men's team, having lost two straight, Lindenwood Belleville last Thursday at home, and then Harris Stowe on Saturday. Let's talk a little bit about those games. Obviously, a big disappointment Thursday night in the loss to Lindenwood Belleville, but to their credit, to Lindenwood Belleville's credit, they shot the lights out of the basketball that night. They put up more points that night than I think they have most of the season. So you got to give them a little bit of credit, but you were looking for a better result that night for sure.
No question. I mean, they shot the living crap out of the ball. Yeah. I mean, they really lit it up, but a lot of that was our inability to be able to guard.
Right.
And that was kind of a disappointing thing for us. We didn't defend with anything. I thought our emotion was bad. I thought that our execution to finish the play was bad, and we gave confidence to them. And anytime you give a shooter confidence, man, that rim gets big. Mm-hmm. And the bigger that rim gets, it's the harder it's trying to make it go small again. And so, they're a type of team that I think they're so scary because they play hard, right. And they play extremely hard all the time. And at any point in time, with teams like that, you've got to take away the confidence into them early. And I thought we did that in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. I thought the way we closed the half, I thought maybe we was going to be able to come out in the second half. And then we came out, we missed 3 layups right away.
Right.
And at that point in time, I thought, man, we're in it for a gun show.
Yep.
And they came in and stepped shooting the ball, mm-hmm. and kept feeding it in and kept knocking down shots, right. And it kept just being in the entire thing. But that's the beauty about game basketball, though, man. You play the game because you don't know what's going to happen. And, it was unfortunate, but at the exact same time, though, I mean, credit goes to credit is due to them. And
right.
They came in, did exactly what they needed to do, and we didn't. So that's just what part of the result.
The loss to Lindenwood Belleville, obviously the loss to Hannibal LaGrange. We've talked a little bit about this. It seemed like, especially that night, something just seemed off. Like the team just wasn't. Maybe they have a tendency, or have the last couple of games, to maybe play down to the competition a little bit. You think that's might have been what happened? Looking forward to that Harris Stowe game on Saturday.
I don't know. We went into the game and we was pretty confident in everything. I thought that in the very beginning of the game, I thought we looked really tired. Mm-hmm. I thought the cold weather. I think the gym was pretty cold, but sure. I thought that overall, I thought we looked really tired.
Right.
And that might have been partly on us. I don't know if we gave them enough rest or not on that part, or kind of what the play was on that part, but. At the end of the day, man, I mean, Lindenwood Belleville, they played, and they came in, they beat us, fair and square. I mean, they took it right to us and took us to the tool shed, man, and so we got to do a better job of responding. And it was a hard week for us overall, but I tell our guys, man, we can't go into excuses. At the end of the day, excuses are monuments of nothingness, man, and we got to continue to do what we got to do and be better at what we do. Right. And that night, we just wasn't very good at all the whole week.
Tricky question here, but I've noticed the last couple of games, especially last Thursday, maybe it was, the team not quite clicking or whatever, but it seemed like there were points in the game that you really could have used a home court advantage that you didn't really get. There's something, the last couple of games, just not a lot of electricity in there. I don't know if it's the play, what it is,
right.
But that would be helpful, right? Because I know several times you were a cheerleader on the sideline trying to get people, hey, we're down 2.
No question.
4 minutes left. Let's
and they're on the free throw line and it's quiet.
Yes.
And no question about it. I think that's one thing that we could help a ton for both us and women's.
Right.
is the loudness of the gym and the electricity of the gym. And I thought we was missing that. And right now we're trying to figure out and kind of generate new stuff. I mean, we're essentially in our 5th season. Mm-hmm. Within the first season, because we're just not getting DeAndre.
Right.
We haven't had Jamari, and we're trying to figure out new lineups, and guys are playing in odd spots, and we need that feel. We need our backing from our home crowd, and to kind of get a little rowdy and to kind of create some excitement for us. And we kind of have a tendency to be able to feed off of that. And you're right. We're on the sidelines trying to generate that and trying to generate the emotion pause of that. And a lot of times that kind of gets monotone by our guys at times, just because of human nature. But, we're in dire need of the help on that part and gaining a home court advantage. And hopefully we're able to get that done in the next, our next 2 games, next Tuesday being at home and then on senior night, and sending our seniors out the right way for that part. But 100%, I mean, we felt it for sure.
Yeah. The flip side of that is the environment that you undoubtedly ran into at Harris Stowe on Saturday. That's always a raucous environment.
Yeah.
Come up a little bit short there. Lost by 13 to Harris Stowe. Tell us a little bit about that one.
I mean, they played really well again too, and again, we're still trying to figure stuff out. We're playing Hardy at the point in that game, and was playing Hassan, and Jamari was at limited minutes, being to play, and I thought his production off the bench was really good, but there was only so many minutes we was going to be able to play him, again, I think that our credit to our team is they're trying to find a way to be able to play, and playing at Harris Stowe it's a hostile environment. It was a fun environment. It was electric, and everybody was there. It was loud and hyped up, and I thought that maybe there's some few things that I probably could have done a little bit better to kind of put us in better positions to be able to win. Again, that kind of goes back on to me, making sure that we're prepared on those things. But again, Harris Stowe is tough. Dwayne Clark, I thought, played out of his mind. I thought that he did exceptionally well. I thought that he scored it really well. That's probably back-to-back games that he hasn't done in a long time. And whenever him and Munson are both going at the exact same time, they become really tough.
Yeah.
But we held them to a lower percentage. We went to a zone late. We just couldn't find the bucket. And the unfortunate thing with our team this year is that that's happened to us a couple different times. Is trying to not be able to find the rhythm of scoring. And I think a lot of it is whether it's confidence or whether it's not necessarily being the exact same fluency. We've had a different lineup in multiple different games now throughout the year. We've had a lot of obstacles, a lot of hurdles, a lot of things that a lot of teams in the conference had to deal with. And our inconsistency of that part is trying to figure that out with 6 to play. And it's a brand new team.
Right.
And, this is the first games that we've had the entire roster, but without having Jamari fully healthy. And so we're still trying to figure out, I thought we played too many guys, but we're trying to figure out what's going to be the best lineup right now. And that's just part of the process, that's again, there's no excuse. We've got to do a job. We've got to show up. We've got to perform. And at the end of the day, we got to execute. And Linwood, Belleville, and Harris Stowe, they took advantage of that, and they did exactly what they needed to do to be able to win the game.
Yeah.
And we'll be better because of it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask you about the rotations, kind of the new season, DeAndre coming in, J-Mo coming back, things like that. We've talked about this the last couple of weeks, actually. It's a lot to juggle, and you sometimes feel like you're starting over every time that happens. It's a great problem to have with DeAndre coming in and J-Mo getting healthy, but it also changes a lot with
so many different
rotations.
dynamics.
Yeah.
So many different dynamics. I mean, we go from knowing the rotation that when Christian came out, Amani or Gerald would go to the 5, and then now it's those guys are now sliding over to the 4, the 3, and they're trying to find a new spot.
Right.
It's so different in trying to find those rhythms on that part. And then, one area now we're really jungled up, and each one of those guys in that spot, respectively in their own right, has provided a substance to us throughout the year.
Right.
And so we're trying to now figure out, okay, now how do we judge this and juggle that and incorporate DeAndre into games with 7 games.
Right.
And we try to do that prior before going into it, but it was so hard because we needed the game plan for that game without him, knowing that we wasn't going to be able to get him. And so his reps have been a little different. And to his credit, I think that DeAndre stepped in, and he's averaging 12 and 8, and he's doing a phenomenal job in those first 3 games. It's just our rhythms were off.
Right.
And then it didn't help that our point guard was out, and now we're trying to put our second leading scorer, in Hardy, at the point, and say, hey, I don't need you to be a playmaker. I still need you to score and facilitate and everything else. But again, we always have that exact same motto is, next man up, and you've got to figure it out. And there's not going to be any sorrows in this league for us at all, and we wouldn't expect it. We know that if another team was going through that exact same thing, we would try to go through and get done what we need to get done as well too. And so, at the end of the day, I think it's going to hopefully help us in preparation for postseason play and be able to make a hard, strong push these last 6 here and going into Columbia, making sure that we're rocking and rolling going into Columbia, and that's the only focus we need to worry about.
Right. Good coaches have a pulse on sort of, the mood of their team and where they're at type thing. I noticed last night, I think it was, get them out, let's go bowling.
Yeah.
Let's just go have some fun. How'd that go?
It was phenomenal. We're talking to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, yeah. Give him some food.
I got him fed real well, and then we went over there and we had a little bowling alley, and it got a little competitive. And Coach Grants, I got to give him a shout out, man. He won. I think his bowling alley, I think his lane was a little tampered with somehow because he threw one in the gutter, but somehow got a strike.
Oh, wow.
And then he threw another one. He missed the pin. The pin somehow slid over and it turned into a spare. So I don't know if he definitively won, but I guess I got to give credit where credit's due.
Nice.
And then my team somehow, I still don't believe that we lost, but somehow my team lost somehow. But it was great though, man. I mean, it was something that we probably needed to do a long time ago.
Right.
Last week going into Park, we took the guys to college basketball experience while I was in Kansas City and went over to CBE and spent some time over there before the Park game. And so I think it's great. I mean, we get caught up in the city, like in the season so much that you get locked in on that part, and we needed some free time. And so hopefully we'll be able to do something else also too. Again, coming up here soon.
Absolutely. 2 games coming up this week, Thursday and Saturday, and they're big from the standpoint that Columbia is in the 5 spot. William Woods is in the 8 spot. You guys are hanging on right now to the 7th spot. So this is, moving up, moving down. Columbia on Thursday first.
Yeah. It's amazing what a week or 2 weeks can do for us. A couple weeks ago, we was battling for potential of getting that top seed. And now all of a sudden, a few games back, and that's the credit to this league, is that this middle of this league here, and really in the top right now, anything can shuffle, even with this last 6 here. The Columbia game is going to be very big. They've been playing really well. They had a tough game against Freed last game. They ended up dropping that game by 2, but, I mean, they're a very tough team at home. Very difficult to play at Columbia, always has been. And I feel like they're trying to find their groove. They've been consistent in a lot of different things. They've been defending really well, and they've been executing their offense really well. And they shoot the ball extremely well, and they've been doing a good job of breaking the plane and getting to the rim. And, we understand that game has got a lot on the table for both teams. They're jockeying around for higher seeds, and we're jockeying around to make sure we stay in the seeds.
Right.
And so we've got to come in, and we've got to kind of follow our game plan, but we got to finish it. We got to put together a full, complete game. I don't know yet this year, and hopefully it comes at some point, and we're able to put 2 halves together. As far as in both sides of the ball, matching our defense to our offense or our offense to our defense. And if we can ever get this thing, part of that is the inconsistency that we've been able to have so far. And the times that we finally get that consistency, we get on a rhythm, and we go on a run, and we become just as good as anybody else. And Columbia's at that spot right now, and that's what makes them so scary. William Woods is at that spot right now too, and those are 2 hard places to play in. William Woods is the hot box, and it's a one-sided gym, and it's a tough gym to play in. And so I mean, we're going to have our hands full both weeks, and we're feeling pretty good as of right now, and hopefully we'll continue up, but we'll have to really put the game plan together and be able to see what we can get done.
Coach, thanks a lot for the time.
No problem. Thank you.
It's Preston Ingram. He's the men's head basketball coach here at Missouri Baptist, and you've been watching the Coaches Show on the Spartan Digital Network.